That jingle was a surprise. Can we hear that again? WarsawJS. Oh, you like that part? Check, check. 1, 2. Check, tech. Tech check. How y'all doing out there? Everybody all right? Oh, okay. That was a test. Just a test to see if you were all kind of in it or not. I think it's going to be an interesting evening tonight. A lot of fun. Everyone looks comfortable. Everyone looks cool, relaxed, attentive, and about business, really about getting the thing done. That's what I like. And excited to be here as always. Is that a yes? Okay, good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to the WarsawJS Meetup number 105, live. Give us a hand, everybody. Thank you. We are coming to you from the offices of Pack Help in Wola, Warszawa. Whoops, can't go in front of the screen. I just remembered. And they are one of our very, very generous contributors for this event. I've been here. Is anyone here for the first time? WarsawJS first time? Welcome to the new first-timers, everybody. Give them a real warm welcome. Yeah, WarsawJS is a community, not just a group, so we really like that everyone should feel comfortable. And let's introduce our team. On the far side of the screen, we have a cartoon, Piotr Gentara, who is the founder, one of the founders. The guy over there in the corner, he makes this thing real. He's the engine that runs this thing and has been running it for quite a while, and who invited me, a non-programming individual, to get involved. I'm very, very grateful to him for that. And we also have Sasha Michałowska, who is head of, she's in charge of administration and direction here. She gets things done, and she means business. I really respect her, and it's a pleasure to work with her as well. Maciej Machniewski, please give him a hand. And I always say this, Maciek, we love you. And you know what? I know when I say Maciek, we love you, it sounds like I only love Maciek. No, we love all of you, really. We love the people who are watching. We love the people who come and attend the meetings. We love everyone who's involved and everyone who is so generous with their time and attention. And then there's Barry Salone, that's me. And it just so happens that I am a little bit challenged in terms of vision, so if I have to get closer to the screen, it's because it's really difficult for me to see sometimes. So I'm really surprised to see myself and also honored to be a member of this team. Interestingly, we have a woman or a person who is a team in themselves, and this is Louisa Haas, our technical team. Louisa Haas, you are a technical team. And by the way, we have Norbert in the corner who's working and helping us from Pack Help. We really appreciate that as well. Give him a hand. Louisa, you know, my respect goes very deep. In addition, we have our volunteers. We have Kutman. Where are you? You back there somewhere? Give him a hand. Just start clapping. Kutman, Kozubek, Grzegorz Markowski, and Piotr Sławinski. By the way, if you are interested and you have extra time and you think you'd like to become a volunteer and help us get these things done, this is not as simple as it may seem. Of course, you're welcome, and we would love to cooperate with you. This is the 105th meetup, and there we have, in a team by himself, Mehdi. Where are you, Mehdi? Back there. And Mehdi has really made it easier on these old legs, because when it gets to the question and answer section, he helps me to get around the room. And there will be question and answers between each talk. So we thank you and we appreciate our volunteers and we appreciate our team. And what is WarsawJS? Well, it says here that WarsawJS exists to support both professional and novice software developers, both, within the IT community. We intend to accelerate the process of education by sharing our knowledge and experience. And just to be clear, I say this every time, the sharing of knowledge is what it's all about. That's the reason why I'm here. I'm very impressed that being so knowledgeable about these things, which are quite technical and quite complicated for most of us, that you seem to find time to actually keep each other as a community up to date and really to keep us as one of the most vital IT communities in Europe, on point. We know what's going on because we help to inform each other. Give ourselves a hand, please, everyone. That's it? No. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. That's not to be taken for granted because many times when people have specialized knowledge and information, they prefer to keep it to themselves because it means more for them. That's why this is a community and not a group. We share. Each one, teach one. Our mission statement. Okay, I'm going to try not to read verbatim what the Berlin Code of Conduct is, What it means, essentially, is that we agree, all of us here in this room, and those of us who are associated with this community, that we will regard each other and treat each other with equal and the utmost respect. Is that okay for everybody? Who agrees that that's how we should conduct ourselves? As always, there's a couple of people who do not agree. Well, we hope that this is the standard that we can uphold. It has worked so far. We haven't bounced anyone recently. The idea is that we eliminate the isms. So I'm not going to name the isms because I just don't use that type of language. So whomever you happen to be in contact with or who happens to be present or in our immediate surroundings, we treat those people, both inside and outside of this room, with respect. That's basically what our mission statement declares and states. WarsawJS. You can also find us, part of WarsawJS 2 groups. You can also find us at www.warsawjs.com. You can also visit us on our YouTube channel at WarsawJS. And for those of you watching, please do comment, do like, and if you have any questions that you'd like to pose, please don't hesitate to, give us some feedback. We really appreciate you, and we hope that this community will continue to grow. WarsawJS.com, WarsawJS. Does anyone know what that's a picture of? Maybe you don't if you're from abroad. What is that logo? What is it? It's a rocket. That's exactly right. We are, let's say, we are accelerating. We are rising. We are aspiring. We are aspire. To aspire to be the best. This is, of course, the Palace of Culture, located in Warsaw. And if you haven't seen it, it's quite a sight to behold. All right. Anyone who would be generous enough tonight to present a topic, a 5-minute lightning talk, and I know we have a lightning talk already set up. Mr. Grzegorz Markowski is already planning one. If you have, let's say, the heart to inform us, to present a topic to us, you are certainly welcome to a 100% discount for a 1-year JetBrains license. If you're interested in doing that, if you find the nerve or the heart or the generosity, please inform one of our team and they will be happy. We will all be happy to hear what you have to say. And finally, the speakers. All right, is everybody ready to start? Louisa, this is rough today. Is everybody ready to start? Okay, because I can just stand up here and talk for another 20 minutes. If you guys just want to keep this going, I could just keep rolling. No, I'm also excited to hear what's going to happen tonight. Our first speaker, I believe, is coming to us from CallStack. Is that correct? Oh, hello. You see the knowledge, the information, the experience. Yeah, I'm new to this. However, I am paying attention. I may not be able to code anything without the help of the GPT monster. However, I really am interested in these topics, and I try to pay attention to who's who And the title of Mr. Rafał Zakrzewski's talk is Remote React Native. Please welcome Mr. Rafał Zakrzewski to the podium. Each speaker is going to speak. Yeah, that was a nice welcome. I can't hear you guys over here. Give them a welcome. Come on, guys. Yeah, the energy. The energy is very, very important, and it feeds us, and we feed you, and it's a cycle, it's a synergy. Each speaker, Mr. Zakrzewski, will have 20, Zakrzewski, right? Okay. We'll have 25 minutes to speak. If you begin to go close to the limit, I will give you a sign. If you exceed 25 minutes, you will hear a very rude sound. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. Only out of respect for the other speakers, and of course, welcome to the stage and have fun.
Thank you. Thank you. I need a second to switch the monitor setup, so give me a second. Teraz to bym chciał tam przerzucić, w sensie ten screen. Okay, cool. We're ready. Thank you very much. Welcome all. It's really nice to be here. It's my first time at the WarsawJS as a speaker and also as an attendant, so I'm very glad and excited to be here with you all. And yeah, without further ado, let's start with the topic of today's talk. So, Remote React Native. I know the title sounds kind of clickbaity. It doesn't say much by itself, but I promise you that I'll try to guide you through all of the possible solutions that we have in the ecosystem of React Native that enable you remote code distributions and OTA, so over-the-air updates. And the goal is basically that after this talk, you'll know what questions you need to ask and what answers you need to get before deciding on any of the solutions in the ecosystem, basically. So, let's start. I'm Rafał, as Barry already mentioned. I'm React and React Native developer for almost 7 years now, and the last 3 years I spent at CallStack, focusing mainly on React Native and all things in the React Native ecosystem. And if you notice that I'm a little bit tired, that's the reason why. Last weekend I adopted a kitten from a village near the Warsaw, so he's very adorable and lovely, but it's also very tiring. So yeah, let's begin. Before we start, I'd like to ask 2 questions. So the first one, how many of you are React Native developers on a daily basis? Please raise a hand. Okay, so not so many. That's good, that's good. And the second question, how many of you are web developers on a daily basis? Okay, again, not so many, but more. So, okay, let's go. And before we start talking about the remote code distribution in the React Native ecosystem, let's take a step back and look how things are looking in the most natural environment for the JavaScript language, so the web browser. So the process of uploading and releasing changes looks normally like that. The developer, you write some code, you make a pull request, there's some CI/CD checks running on that code, right? You get some peer developer to get you review of that code, and after you get the green light, you measure the changes, and after then they got released. No matter if it's like automated release or someone needs to manually upload it to server, it doesn't really matter. But that's the point in time after which basically the user, if he or she refreshes the page or like goes to the page for the first time, they will get the updated code. And it's oversimplified, of course. There's like quality assurance things that probably should be done on the staging environment before the release. Am I? Oh, no, it's only 3.5 minutes. And yeah, and like gradual release rollouts, there are all other things, but they're not the point of today's talk. The point is that the main takeaway from the web is that the feedback loop between the developer and the end user is pretty much very tight. It's instantaneous almost. And on the React Native, it doesn't look like that. Because React Native is first and foremost designed for the native platforms like iOS and Android, and because of that, it has to adhere to the rules of the native world. And let's do a similar exercise. So the developer does some changes, they go through a CI/CD stuff, they merge the changes, and here's, in the release part, is the point where things start to differ in the React Native world. So you have, like, in the native apps, the JavaScript bundle is only a small part of the app, right? Because you have to build the native binaries for each platform. And after you build those binaries, you have to upload them to the App Store, so the App Store and the Google Play Store. And before they are available for the users to be like updated or fetched, they have to go through the app review process, which is okay, and usually it takes less than a day, but sometimes there are horror stories, like app being in a review for days and maybe weeks even. So I took a little time to basically go through the internet, and yeah, I made some screenshots of some articles. App Store review horror. Every iOS developer know that basically app review process is a nightmare. And you don't have to be iOS developer. You can be React Native developer to feel the same pain. Here's the second one. It's from the Apple Developer Forum. And you can see that it's 4 years ago, so maybe things got a little bit better, but actually they didn't, because the latest comments are from 2022. And currently, it's 21st day of waiting for iOS app to be reviewed. That sounds ridiculous, right? You have a bug fix, and it's waiting for 21 days to be received by the users. And you can see that even Wired, which is, I think it's a kind of mass media outlet for like gadgets and so on, but they catch the thing, and they written the article, and I highly recommend that you read that article. The link's there. I guess the presentation will be available for you after the talk, because there are a few stories which are really weird. Yeah. So knowing that, in React Native world, updates are taking time and they're pain. The community, which I think is one of the best things in the React Native world, and the second thing is the ecosystem of the solutions already created and available for us as developers, stood up, and they found ways to make that feedback loop between developer and end user tighter, more web-like. So in terms of JavaScript code, obviously, because the native code is completely different story. There's no way to go around the App Store review, for example. And the solutions that I'm going to show you are pretty similar in what they're trying to achieve. And all of them started as a standalone tool solution, whatever you want to call it, to enable over-the-air updates to the main JS bundle, the JS part of the native binaries. And they all seem to kind of evolve along the way to be more feature-packed, end-to-end release monitoring, defects tracking, analytics, and all things built-in tools. But we'll not focus on those services. We'll focus only on the OTA capabilities, over-the-air updates. And the first tool is Code Push. And as I said in the previous slide, it's moving to the App Center, so this more feature-packed solution. And the best thing about Code Push, at least personally, that's my opinion, is that it's really easy to integrate into standard React Native apps. You can do it without need to integrate any other App Center service, if that's your wish. If you only want to use Code Push, that's no problem. And besides JavaScript, it also handles updates to the static assets like images and videos. And it ensures that the user, after seeing that there's an update, only fetches the things that are actually needed. So they are saving the network traffic. And okay, let's look how to configure it. So first, of course, you need to create App Center account to get the deployment keys and organization name and app name and so on and so forth. So you need to sign up there and create a project for your app. Then you obviously need to install the NPM package, the client SDK that you have to integrate into your app. In Code Push, you also need to modify some native files, so the respective Android and iOS files, and initialize the SDK there, because the updates are happening even before the React Native is initialized in the app. It's all happening at the app startup time in the native layer. And the last thing is basically that you need to wrap the root React Native app component with the hierarchy function provided by the Code Push SDK, and voila, you're basically set. You can do some commits, some updates, and run this last comment, and the changes should be available on the next relaunch of the app. So that seems easy, right? The second solution is Expo/ES update, and it's designed with Expo in mind. So you should use it if you use Expo, but if you are working on a standard React Native project, which does not use Expo, you can still add some additional configuration to the app and use it with a React Native app, not an Expo app. They call it bare React Native projects in their documentation. And a very nice thing about the Expo update is that it's two things. Basically, the first thing is like in Code Push, it's the client SDK that you need to integrate into the app. And the second thing is that Expo update is actually a protocol. So it's very thoroughly documented, and the specification is really nice. It's updated every time there are changes by the Expo team. And what does it mean? It's that you can use that protocol to create your own server or service to provide the React Native app with the updates. So you don't have to rely on the Expo services, the ES update, in order to make it work. So you're like completely on your own. You have to invest time and money into that, but you can just not use the ES services. And one of the reasons why you might want to do it is, in contrary to Code Push, which is free, the ES update has a free tier of 1,000 monthly upgraders. They call it upgraders. But after that, after you're going above that limit, you have to pay, basically. So, yeah. But it's good that they give you choice, right? And yeah, the configuration, it depends on the fact whether you're using Expo or a non-Expo app. So I'm not going to dive too deep into the details. Please refer to the documentation on the Expo site, because I believe it's really nice to work with, and it's so much better than the Code Push documentation, to be honest. And as usual with the Expo packages, they basically they have a much better developer experience. So if you're having an Expo project, you don't need to configure any native files, because the package will take care about it itself. And the last thing, basically, that you need to do is create ES account. Please remember that there's a limited free tier. And yeah, that's also pretty simple, right? And there's a third thing. But before I talk about that, I have another question. And this question is as follows. Have you ever heard about micro frontends? Please raise hand if you did. Okay, so many people. For those who didn't hear about the micro frontends, it's like taking the concept of microservices from the backend and like translating it over to the front-end area. So you have a lot of mini apps, let's call them mini apps, or like small pieces of reusable UI and functionalities that you can share between apps, and like the underlying technology and architecture will take care for ensuring that everything works together well. And yeah, so many of you heard about micro frontends. It's a buzzword, but it's only available for the web, right? And that's because the Metro bundler, the underlying packager for the React Native, in the end of the build process, it produces single JS main.js bundle that then is embedded into the binary. there's no code splitting because of that. There's no lazy loading available in the production builds, at least. So that historically meant that micro frontends architecture is not available in the React Native world because of those things that I said before. And that has changed. And this is the reason why. So Zamotany created this package, this toolkit, and it was later taken by Kuba Romańczyk and me, and we are maintainers of this project. We're working on it as a part of open source R&D and maintenance program at Callstack. And yeah, what it is. Basically, Webpack is meant for web, right? But at the same time, it's very flexible. So you can tweak the configuration of the Webpack and its internals, and if you know them very well, and if you know the internals of the React Native itself very well, you can make Webpack work in the React Native environment. And Repack gives you this like configuration primitives to enable swapping out the Metro for Webpack. And if you have React Native app built with Webpack, you have access to the vast ecosystem of plugins and loaders already existing in Webpack. And one of the plugins is Module Federation plugin. And right now, you can use Module Federation inside React Native apps, which means you can basically use micro frontends in the React Native apps. And this is huge, although it's not the same thing as code push and expo update because they take care of updating the main bundle, whereas Module Federation will only give you the over-the-air updates capability of updating the pieces that you're using as a federated module, so the federated modules, basically. And that might be a problem, but still, you can use code push together with Repack, so you have both of both worlds. I did the experiment, and it was working. It's not officially like supported, at least that's the messaging in the docs. We might, in the future, try to add the functionality of updating the main bundle into the Repack itself, so you only have one tool, you don't have to use two tools. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Repack. If you're curious about how the reference implementation of micro frontends in mobile world should look like, we have created this super app showcase repo. So I encourage you to visit that repo. We have like a few mini apps, like dashboard news, whatever, some shared modules like authentication mini app that consists of authentication logic coupled with UI that is shared between all those apps. And yeah, it basically, our aim is not to have like a boilerplate for you because it's in no way production ready, but rather like an inspiration if you want to play with this architecture. Yeah, so jumping to conclusions. In the end, there's no winner in this competition. There's no tool that is the best one. Because as usual in IT, it all depends, right? So the project-specific needs should dictate what tool you choose. If you have an Expo app, you probably should start with ES Update because that's the logic choice, because it will be easy to integrate. If you have a standard React Native app, so non-Expo one, you might want to give a try to code push at first to see how the dashboard feels like, and so on and so forth, and only then try to use Expo updates if it does not fit your needs, basically. And as I said, these two tools, so the code push and ES updates, are pretty similar. They provide a nice dashboard to manage your releases. They provide a very nice CLI to publish the updates, and so on and so forth. But the third tool, Repack, I don't recommend using it in small organizations and small projects. Only if your organization is like scaling exponentially and the teams are growing, the number of teams are growing, and you feel like the team members from different teams are starting to step on each other's toes while developing, only then you should consider moving to micro frontend architecture, so the Repack and Module Federation. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Regardless of whatever tool you choose, I highly encourage you to experiment with any of them or all of them, because I strongly believe that having a way to ship code as fast as possible, that basically means saving time, right? And saving time in business usually means saving money. So yeah, you should do that. And last thing I want to talk about is that we should appreciate the community of React Native and the vast ecosystem of things, because if we go a few years back, none of this would be possible. You'll have to create these solutions on your own, which will be like super hard and super time consuming. And right now you can just, sign up to one of the tools and quickly integrate it into your app. So yeah, let's appreciate the community and the ecosystem. And before we go to the Q&A, I'd like to tell you about the conference that we're holding in Wrocław on 7th and 8th of September, React Native EU. That's organized by CallStack. If you scan the QR code here, you'll get the 10% discount. We'll have like community leaders, the thought leaders in the React Native space there from Microsoft, Meta, and so on. And the last thing, if you're a Formula One fan, there will be Gunther Steiner there as a guest. That's all. Thank you.
To get some, but you have all this space over here. Hello, hello. Once again, great presentation by Rafał, correct? Yeah? You're a great sport also, with all the banging and the noise going on in the background. So as I understand it, you're all code pushers. Is that who I'm in the company of? That was what I got from the message. Does anyone have any questions for Rafał? Questions about the presentation, about the software, about the applications, about any of the information? Are you telling me that this man was so informative that there's not a single question left unanswered in your minds? You can, okay. I think he's a plant, however. Oh, here we go.
So you were saying about the review process from Apple and how is it a horror. So what would be your suggestion how to treat Apple reviewers with code that is pushed and that is bypassing the regular review process?
You mean if Apple will have problems?
Yes.
With you pushing code via code push, so this is a valid concern, and I think it's addressed by all of these tools that I mentioned. They all have like dedicated documentation page telling you about what you should do and what you should avoid doing in order to not trigger Apple review board to ban your app or reject your app. But at the same time, in the guidelines of App Store at least, there are a few points which are making it kind of a gray area, so it's not prohibited. You can use that, but you should not ship big features using that approach. You should ship only code tweaks, small features, because they say that if you don't change the app functionality in a big way, you should be okay, basically. But if you choose any of those tools, please read that documentation page about not triggering Apple to ban your app from App Store.
Yes, code pushers and tweaking. This is the language that I understand. That was a really very interesting use of words, and also, I just think it's such powerful language, code pusher. I get it. I think I'm understanding the concept. It's very powerful language. Any other questions for Rafał? Well, in that case, Rafał, thank you very, very much for the presentation. Give him another really, really big hand. We thank you. Rafał is coming from CallStack, and as he mentioned, there will be a React Native EU conference happening with 25 speakers, 750 tech enthusiasts, 100% practical React Native insights and high-tech content. Get your tickets at www.react-native.eu. Hashtag React Native EU. And something tells me that I might actually be there. Can you imagine such a thing? It's very possible. I'm not in front of the screen. Okay, folks, this is a good opportunity for us to really give an enthusiastic, and when I say enthusiastic, I'm not being like, yay. An enthusiastic thank you to PackHelp for supplying us with the space today. Let's hear it. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That is enthusiasm, and that's exactly, they deserve no less. This is a very, very comfortable space, and everyone clearly looks very, very at ease and relaxed, and it's not too hot, it's not too cold, the seats are comfortable, there's enough space, you can see everything from every angle, and it's a very, very generous thing that they have done by having us here today. In addition, our sponsors are, I can remember them, oh, there we are. Oh, look at that, CallStack. Give us a hand, everybody, start clapping. Fresha, PackHelp, Utility Warehouse, and XFang. Yeah, come on, guys, this side of the room. You know, these cameras and the whole video, the production that we're doing, it works in stereo. So if this side is kind of like, you know, it'll pick up on the camera. So we really appreciate your participation. Speaking of, who do I want to speak of? We always spoke about XFang. We spoke about CallStack, you guys. Great presentation, Rafał. Zakrzewski. You see how it works? You know, all you have to do is tell me once, and you don't have to repeat. These names, as you know, are not so simple to pronounce. All right. We'd like to invite our next speaker to the stage, and that is going to be, Mr. Artur Kozubek. And the title of his talk is going to be Extreme Programming meets AI. So I'm scared already. Are you ready, sir? Yeah. Welcome to the stage. Welcome.
Thank you. The clicker thing around or not? Can I have them? Yeah. If it works.
I hope.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good day, everybody. Let me tell you that this is quite a moment for me because, yeah, I've been around WarsawJS since 5 years, from the beginning of my software developer career, even before. And yeah, let me just say how grateful I am for this community, for the organizers, because it had and still has tremendous impact on my career. So I owe you a lot. And yeah. And yeah, it's a great moment, great pleasure for me to be on the other side and share with you something interesting, hopefully, something interesting. So, what's on the agenda today? I would like to tell you more about my experience with extreme programming, with techniques like test-driven development and pair programming, and then my impressions with this whole AI thing, with large language models, things like GPT, and how these two tools can connect each other to do our job even better. Okay, so a little bit of story at the beginning. So how I get in love with these techniques, let me say, with test-driven development and pair programming. So these two techniques are part of the larger framework, I would say, what extreme programming is. But this is like the closest to us because it's very close to writing code. So I will mainly talk about test-driven development and pair programming in this presentation. And it started with joining a company called Pragmatists. And it was quite a conscious choice because I really wanted to write tests. And these guys were on the different conferences talking about writing tests, talking about TDD and other interesting topics. So I applied for a job to learn as well. And yeah, they hired me. And I spent a year there an intense year of learning. You could imagine an environment of like 100%, close to 100% pair programming, close to 100% test-driven development. Yeah, it was a lot of learning, and it took about a year, and we got acquired by another company, Snowflake. Maybe you know them, American company, and yeah, we can continue sharing this culture in Snowflake, perhaps having even bigger impact than before. So yeah, we're happy about it. Okay, so maybe before I talk about TDD, let's have a quick poll as before. I like it. So how many of you heard about test-driven development technique? And how many of you, most of you, thanks, and how many of you use TDD on daily basis? Not so many. Okay, so I think it's worth to tell you a bit. So the process starts with writing a failing test, and this is so important that it's even have this nice animation here. This is the golden rule of TDD. And why is this so important? You should start with a failing test because you learn about your system this way. And this way you can know, for example, if you fix a bug, you start with a failing test, you know that this bug happens in your system, and then you solve with a test. So you make sure that this test really covers it. I see a nervous look from my wife, meaning that I go too much into off topics, right? So I need to speed up a bit. Okay. So the process is to make the test pass, then you can refactor, you have the code coverage, you can refactor, and you repeat iteratively, so you have this nice process to follow. And a bit about pair programming. So the idea of pair programming is you sit together in a pair and code at the same time, the same feature, next to each other. And so one idea is to have this two mindset. One of a person is a driver, the other person is navigator. And I would compare it to have a code review all the time, like all the time coding, because this is what happens in code review. Like you share your code and another person give you a feedback. And in this pair programming process, you can get it all the time. And it's very nice, but it's very intense, so it has some flaws, I would say. But yeah, I liked it, and we still use it at Snowflake. And let me tell you that it goes nice with pair programming. So you can see this red-green refactor, and ping pong is about one person starts with writing a failing test, then another person would implement it, then another person would refactor. So it goes nice. Okay, so changing the topics, about 2021, there was GitHub Copilot introduced, and let me tell you, I was quite impressed. We were all impressed. In our company, we would share each other's snippets on Slack. It was just completion, but it had this sense of intelligence. We were very, we were impressed. And now we are in 2023, and GPT and the AI is all around the agenda, different, not only software development, but it really changes how we do business and stuff. So what impressed me, that it can code, obviously. It understands, it has this kind of understanding you wouldn't expect few years before, I think, and I will show you some examples. It can learn on fly, meaning if it doesn't know something because there was a cut in 2021, I didn't learn something from 2022, then you can just slap it with some documentation written just yesterday, and it learns on fly and applies it to your code, so it's quite amazing. And yeah, it's getting better so fast. GPT-4 is much better than GPT 3.5. I would say if GPT-4 wouldn't be here at the moment, this presentation kinda didn't make sense. But GPT, I mean, if I would need to do it with 3.5, but with 4, it's different. So yeah, it makes you think how better it can get with next iterations. But obviously there are some flaws with GPT. So one of it is it's hallucinating. So it was prompted a few days ago by me with 3.5 because 4 is a bit better. But I wanted some simple example, and yeah, I'm passing it some algebra. It's quite complicated, okay, but it wouldn't just tell me, yeah, I'm not good at calculations, use calculator or whatever. It just confidently shares a wrong result with you. So this is kind of scary. This is showing us that we should be careful with generating code with GPT. And yeah, here we coming back with the process of test-driven development and pair programming, which is about ensuring quality. And I think there are many things from extreme programming that goes well with GPT, with this ensuring quality, that's just keeping it in place. So we have a constant feedback loop if we would pair program with GPT. We keep having high code coverage, so we constantly check if whatever GPT written is written well. When we do prompts, I will share you more later on the demo. We can use our tests, our code, our test output as an input for GPT, which is quite amazing. I think we can do amazing tools with it. We have this incremental progress, so we do this little loop with a test and the code, coding some feature, and we check if everything is okay. We can make a commit, and then we go next and next and next. And yeah, I think it's comparing to pair programming as a 2 developers. Yeah, this is like 2 salaries compared to 1 salary, and GPT. Yeah, some basic plan, or not basic, but it's I think yeah, the money is risky subject. Yeah, okay. I think we shouldn't be afraid, but we can talk about it later. Yeah. Okay. So let's start with the demo. So first thing I wanted to share you is some prompts. So basically, the proof of concept of my idea how we can cooperate with GPT is 3 prompts. Let me share with you just maybe 2 of them at the moment. So what we start with, we tell GPT that it should role play. Yeah, it's a technique from, let's say, prompt engineering that we should tell it who it is to maybe follow some rules of Uncle Bob, and to follow test-driven development, explaining that we are in the particular phase right now. And what will happen next, we will pass here, this is just empty right now, but it will be filled. We will pass it with some test scenarios. So this is a green phase. We have all the code written, it's green, and we want to write a failing test. So we'll write a scenario here for a failing test. Then we will pass files for reference. This will be just our code copy-pasted. And below there are some more guidelines. I would love to talk more, but I just don't want to, pass the time. So another prompt is pretty similar, but this will be about red phase. So when we will come to the red phase of test-driven development, there will be another prompt, and we will pass the output of the test, and we will expect the GPT to code the implementation. So, Piotrek, did we maybe downloaded the movie or not? Let's just play. Oh, it is downloaded. Okay, I'm not sure, but it should work. Okay, so we go with the demo. This is a simple. Yeah, I can stand back. This is a simple app, a to-do app, which doesn't work yet because, yeah, it just clears the form and then nothing happens. Why is that? This is because we haven't implemented it yet. We are in the green phase, so we are conscious about it, but we just implemented clearing the form, and we will go with the next step. And yeah, let me just share you some code. It's very simple. So you can see that in the handler of adding to do, we just clean the form. Okay, so yeah, we are in the green phase, and here is the test scenario. We say that given the form is filled, the user clicks the button, and the new to-do item should be added to the pending list. So copy-pasting, we would copy-paste the whole code, but that was cut from the demo. So it has all the data, and now it will write a failing test. So it understands. Here is the new failing test. So we will wait a bit for an output. It follows the rules. I wanted it to have a structure of given, when, then. This is a nice framework to write tests. And yeah, I don't like it that much. It's okay, but the assertions, it's a little bit weird. We just added one to-do item, and it checks like all the items, taking the last one. I think it can be simplified, so I will tell it. Just assume there is, yeah, there is no items before, so the assertion part can be simplified. So this is just some example how we can communicate like a pair programmer, right? I am navigator and it is a driver. Okay, so this is actual the pace GPT-4 has now, but the next slice I think there will be speed up. But it's not bad. Okay, so now it just checks if the length is 1 and takes the first element of the array. So I'm a bit more happy about it. Okay, so what we do now, we paste the new test in our test suite, and we check the terminal. And what happens is we have a failing test, as it's supposed to be. And it's failing right. I was telling you about the failing right, so there was missing one list item, so we can proceed. Okay, it's a little bit too fast, maybe, but now we are in the red phase. This is a different script with the red phase. We put the console output, and we proceed with the next stage. So this is like the new story, new chat window. We put all the context, we put the code and the console output. Code is updated with our new test, and we ask it to write implementation for us. So what it will do, it will output all the code, all the new code. Now it is speeded up with some explanation. And what we do, we just copy the code, put it in our app.tsx file. And yeah, let us compare the code with Git, just to make sure. So we have some to-dos introduced. We loop it to render it. We have some use state, and the setting the use state is handled in the right place. So obviously it works. Good job, GPT. So there is also, we have more time? A few minutes? Okay, cool. So okay, let's check if it really works. Okay, it's not rendered very nice, but the logic works. So we are going to the last phase of our process, working on a feature, is refactor stage. So maybe I'm not so happy about how it coded the solution. So I say maybe you could use to-dos hook to encapsulate the logic from the component and put it yeah, in a separate function, right? Okay, so that was fast. It's speeded up again, but it will make sense later. What it did, you can see it introduced the hook. It explained the reasoning. So let's copy paste it again. Okay. We will copy paste it in our app. Again, we will check with the Git the previous version what changed. So we can see it did it how I described it. We have separate function. It's a very simple refactor, but that was for the sake of the presentation. We can see that with such a simple refactor, GPT can handle it very well. We still have the green tests, so we are happy. We can again check if it works. Obviously, if we have tests in place, we don't have to do that, but this is for presentation. So we closed our loop of test-driven development. And for such a simple example, GPT made a good job, I would say. Okay. So what do I do now? Okay, like this. And extreme programming. And, okay, not this. Okay, so we have some conclusions for you. I have some conclusions, some of my personal opinions of this proof of concept. Obviously, like, this wasn't the best developer experience you can have. There was a lot of copy pasting. It was all speed up from the presentation, but it was lots of copy pasting around the different files. So I think it could be a start for a nice tool for a VS Code extension, for example, when you can inject the code and the test output automatically in the prompt. What I need for it to make it happen, I need the GPT-4 API key. So as I told you, 3.5 is not that good at this, so I waited for it. And yeah, OpenAI doesn't trust me yet to have an API key. It should change in the next month. So that was the only way for me to communicate with GPT-4, just with the chat. So that was the idea for the POC as well. I have some hopes for fine-tuning GPT. It should be possible soon this year to fine-tune GPT model for your use. So yeah, you can fine-tune it to according to your repository, for example, and then it will expand. You will not just use 2 files like there, but it can know how maybe to import file from somewhere else. Maybe I will try some other large language models. Some of them are open source, they are self-hosted. So yeah, interesting future in front of us. Thank you for your presentation, for my presentation, and for your attendance. I can thank you for your presence. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Panie Arturze, thank you for your fantastic presentation. Give Artur a big hand for his presentation. And thank you all for your presentation as well. You present very well. Did everyone follow that? I didn't mean to pressure you.
Okay.
Of course, there's never any pressure to rush through the process. And of course, I'm not the most astute when it comes to this very quick copying and pasting process that you went through. It just seemed to me that, was everyone following that very easily, what he was saying? It's simple for you guys. I was like struggling to keep up. I was like, wait, can you slow down just a little? Does anyone have any questions for Artur? Right there, mate D. Oh, coming.
When you use it for a week, how many tokens does it take?
ChatGPT, when you communicate with GPT through the chat, it just, there is a barrier that you can prompt it like 20 times an hour or something. I don't know. The answer is I don't know because I didn't measure it. If I would use the API, I would love to tell you. So I think maybe there will be a follow-up with me using the API when I have the GPT-4 key, and I can just give the number how much it costed to produce something. Okay, so I don't think you can get this information from chat. I mean ChatGPT, not GPT as an API. Or maybe I am wrong, but I don't know how to do it.
Reasonable question. Just to go back to what that gentleman mentioned, you say this is a sensitive topic, the idea.
Oh, yeah.
I think that part I sort of understood. I mean, basically, we're saying that we can actually hire less people and use the machine instead of a real partner. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think you could.
Oh my
you could put
gosh!
it in
Anyway,
this
next
way.
question.
You could put it in this way.
Oh
But
my gosh!
I feel like we just need to keep with the pace. This is my idea of that, because you cannot just hide and pretend it's not there.
Sure,
You
I'm
can
wondering
you
what
can use
happens
it.
when
You can use it for a good. And yeah, it will stay with us. It will change a lot, and we just need to adapt.
For the developers, does it make us more money, or does it save more money for?
Yeah, let's do everything to make us more money. Yeah.
I have to do the math. I'm really struggling with that. Next question over here.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for presentation. You mentioned that it would be nice to have some VS Code extension for such things, and also you mentioned the GitHub Copilot.
Yeah.
But have you heard about beta version of Copilot Chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I'm using it on a daily basis, and I think it's a best tool that can fit these requirements and help you. And it also have all understand and have all like knowledge that Copilot has, but also you can communicate with it even. So.
Yeah, I thought of it to introduce Copilot X. I think you mentioned Copilot X, the new version of Copilot. So one thing, it is in a closed beta version, like release. So I read the terms, and they say I couldn't. I'm not really allowed to share it on a meetup like this, because it's in a beta version and it's not supposed to be shared like this. But yeah, I follow you. I think it's maybe I will just introduce my workflow with GitHub, with new GitHub Copilot, and it will work.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Just recently, using this thing that you were referring to, I keep being reminded by the ChatGPT not to share any sensitive information.
Yeah. Also good concern. Yeah.
And when they keep repeating it, I start understanding that maybe this is for good reason. I think many of us have NDA agreements, and we are protecting our clients' sensitive information, and that's something to keep in mind.
Yes, exactly. I didn't put it in the presentation, but definitely you need to be very aligned with your company processes and how they see the security, privacy, legal concerns with GPT. This is real. This was all this Altman trip around Europe was about regulations to talk with European Union about it. The CEO of OpenAI. I've seen Piotrek there on the meeting, right?
He was
with some Altman.
I spoke with this guy, and actually this was funny because he said, I asked him a question, it's all online, and the funny part of that is that he said, hey, I don't want any public media to know about that I'm here in Warsaw. And we said, but why? Because it's all biased, and I want to have real contact with people. And actually, when I sent on my LinkedIn and on my Facebook the invitation, hey, Sam Altman will be tomorrow in Warsaw, please book the tickets as soon as possible. Everyone replied, no one speaks about this, it's impossible, we don't believe you.
Are you talking about the question of security and
that was about Sam Altman, but about security and issues.
And Wojtek was there in this.
He was the first. Actually, Sam Altman was the first to ask for regulations. This is incredible. I like this self-conscious of this man. Self-awareness, because he literally asked the government.
He begged the government.
Yes, to put regulations on his kind of social. It's very very nice. Actually.
It's interesting.
When he asks, he can give some input, like what regulations. So
yeah,
I think
very
it's for his good.
Yeah, being in Poland for a very long time, for me, that type of behavior is just a little bit podejane. I don't know. I don't really buy it 100%. However, yes, I remember that meeting. Any more questions for Artur? We have time for one more. In that case, folks, get your energy up. Big thanks to Artur for the presentation. Yeah. All right. So it's Warsaw, and for you guys who are watching online, for our audience who's watching either on the live stream, And for those of you who are abroad, it's evening in Warsaw, and it's still light outside, and this is just a beautiful place to be. Warsaw is one of these cities where many visitors mention that there's a lot of greenery in the middle of the city. I don't know if you guys appreciate or understand how special that is when it comes to urban areas. The fact that you have this green environment inside, the urban environment, it's just nice. It's really special. New York City has like one green patch like in the middle, and the rest is just, asphalt and poison. So I'm feeling very pleasured and privileged to be here. Okay. Our next speaker, I think I know this. Oh, don't go in front of the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, are rather good people, folks of all sizes, colors, shapes, and genders. Is that better than ladies and gentlemen? You like it? Good people, folks. Please welcome to the stage our next speaker. This is Małgo Plichta, and the title of her talk is Slow Scrum About Greed. Wait, Małgo. Slow Scrum About Greed. Can you just put some inflection on that? I don't know how I'm supposed to say that. Like slow scrum about greed, or slow scrum about greed? How would you say it exactly?
Slow scrum about greed.
Slow scrum about greed?
I don't know. I don't pay that much attention. Like, I don't really see the difference.
Yeah, I'll know more after you start talking.
Okay. This will be fun, I hope. At least to me it will be fun, because I am associated with Xfang. And, oh, can I click it? Like, can I click it? Does it click? Like, next. Wait, let's make a test. Okay, great. So I have worked for Xfang for a while, and I am still associated with Xfang. However, I am on a sabbatical leave currently. Do you know, guys, what a sabbatical leave is? It's this, yeah. I was supposed to take a leave only for 3 months, but yeah, it wasn't enough, So it's the 6th month that I am on a sabbatical leave, and it's great. I hope the industry hasn't changed that much, and that my presentation will still be up to date, let's say, and will make sense. Just, this is not mine, just to mention that I have found by the counter over there this jar, which is called Earth Day Conversation Starters, and I believe it is like somehow aligned with what I'm going to speak about. So I'm just like inviting you to discuss such things as, in addition to individuals' choices, what actions can we take as communities to fight climate change? So I think, yeah, this is somehow related to what I will be speaking about, and I really appreciate Pack Help has something like this at their place. Anyway, so when I joined IT, it was in 2015. It was, the land of, it was a very idealistic land. And we were all thinking like, okay, great, we will build amazing things and we will revolutionize the world. And currently I have a feeling that we are all like doing very similar things. Obviously the AI has changed the game. However, like how many times have I heard that somebody is building another e-commerce or things like that. So I'm not really sure that we are in the avant-garde of change currently, and I just want to raise the bar a bit. I hope to raise the bar a bit. I hope that we will start making like more valuable things. And so I will be speaking both about, let's say, the values, like what does it make, well, does it make sense sometimes to work? I'm not afraid to say things that will make you hate me or your companies or your clients, because as I've said, I'm on a sabbatical leave, and like I like it. I don't need to go back to the business. That's why I said it, that there is nothing to lose. So like, you know, just quit or take a leave whenever you need. Don't pressure yourself too much. Work-life balance is more important. Sleeping well is more important. Having time for your family is more important. Piotr, I guess you didn't expect that. You didn't see that coming. Like all the company is going to, you know, to quit. Yeah. So, and I am a project manager and a Scrum Master. And there has been an ongoing conflict between me and developers. Well, obviously, no one says that, but I know that all the developers hate project managers. And why is it? Because it's usually because we have like different needs. And I think this presentation will show you that we can actually play to the same ramka, I forgot the word. Gate? Goal? Thank you. Okay. So first I would like to start by saying that Scrum Guide actually does not impose any constraints that would not allow us to do things in a more balanced way, harmonious way, let's say. I will show you some quotes from the Scrum Guide. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Scrum Guide. I'm pretty sure that you are familiar with daily meetings and planning meetings, and you've got some general idea about Scrum. However, what makes the difference is that Scrum doesn't work when you leave out certain elements, when you like decide, okay, it doesn't make sense to make the planning meeting or the retrospective session, or we can skip the dailies, or yeah, etc., etc. So we need to keep them. We need to keep all the elements, because otherwise it will not work. And why is it? Why do I want to, like, I'm a Scrum Master, so my mission is to raise the awareness of Scrum in a company. However, I think that like we should start thinking about it, like make it a topic. Make it a topic that Scrum actually can be done better, that we can discuss Scrum not only at work, but with people from the same industry, and that we can set new standards. And by setting new standards, I mean making the stakeholders aware of like how important it is that the Scrum works the way, like the Scrum has all the elements in it. How important it is that we spend those 2 hours of planning or 4 hours of planning, depending on the length of the sprint, etc., etc. How important it is that we force or make or ask kindly those super senior developers who don't have the time, obviously, and they prefer to code, to come to the dailies and speak with the other people, and how important it is to do the refinements. Yeah, and we are the collective intelligence. I hope that you appreciate my beautiful design. So like the green stars. That's how I marked the slides that I want to focus longer on. So the important part here is that the Scrum is about refining the process. We all like refining the process. We don't always do it. And if we, like, what I want us to think when implementing Scrum is that whenever, like, once we engage more, the results will be, the results will be better. So, what I'm also speaking about is the risk management. And like when you are running a project, when you are responsible for the project, like I'm currently trying to speak about something that I believe will reduce the risk in all the projects that I will run from now on, and in your projects as well. So please take Scrum seriously. There are 3 pillars that come from Scrum Guide, and they are transparency, inspection, and adaptation. And they are all being tested all the time. When we are not following all the Scrum events, Scrum activities, when we are skipping things, and we are also not living by the Scrum values that I will mention in a second. They are all being put to risk, and yeah, I also want to mention those to you because maybe you haven't even heard about them. So transparency is, for example, what we implement by doing good retrospective sessions. Transparency is what we do when we do the code review. When we discuss things, when we are open. Inspection, same, code reviews. I hope that at every project there are code reviews. Can someone rate? No, you will not do it. I will not ask you to raise a hand if there are no code reviews at your project. Adaptation, yeah. And the adaptation is linked to this very important value, self-managed teams, that I will speak in a second about. And all of these pillars are being under attack, let's say, when, for example, the client is for example, does not want to cooperate with the product owner. For example, when we are skipping all the Scrum events that I have mentioned, we are just losing the opportunity to build a very effective team that works towards a common goal. And it's not only about delivering a project, but doing it in a sustainable way. And I will get back to that in a second. Wait 1 second. Where am I? Okay, I want to skip to this slide for a second. So we want the teams to be not only cross-functional, because we all know that, but we all want the teams to be self-managed. And when the teams are self-managed, and they are, they live by those values: commitment, focus, openness, respect, and courage, and especially commitment. They, like, the level of the probability that we will deliver a working product on time and we will all be happy and we will like feel the comfort working together, like goes up like immediately. So by not committing, by not focusing on what we are doing, by not being open and discussing, like liking people that we work with, trying to, resolve the issues, and also speaking up for different issues that appear, that emerge, we are like stopping blocking the possibility for the project to actually be successful. Yeah. And why do I mention it in a presentation about greed? And like it's a very, like, we live in a very complex world, and it is a very complex system, and there are different things that clash, that like our values clash, and the 5 minutes left. Okay. So our needs clash with the systemic expectations, let's say. So we have this pressure from the stakeholders that everything has to be on time, and we have the pressure from the management. And at the same time, we want to have as much free time as possible, and I don't know, we are tired, we need to rest. And so my idea is, I'm totally not saying that you should work more. In fact, I believe that we should all work less. What I'm saying is that we should try to communicate that the pressure that we have and that we put on ourselves is like, let's become aware that it is systemic, partially, and the only way we can, like, let's say, fight it back is by personal choices. And maybe, like, personally now, if there will be, like, Piotr, you need to hear me, like, you need to hold me accountable for that. Like, if there will be a developer that will tell me, no, it will take twice as much time, I will trust him, because, like, I will not pressure the developer to, like, you know, make it faster. I will not listen to the stakeholders, to the client, when they will tell me, we need to do it sooner, like, this has to be delivered, like, okay, like, if you want it delivered, go somewhere else, but still, like, I think that everyone should live by those values. So, I'm not sure if you're following, because I'm just like, you know, but I think you get the gist. So, about building trust, maybe it's a good moment to summarize a little bit, because I've got only 2 minutes probably left. So I think that we should all make it a topic in our companies and start maybe not imposing, but like try to make the environment in which we work aware of the fact that certain things are not being, like, they are impossible to be jumped over, and we can do only as much as we can do, and that's it. And we should all take care about ourselves, because otherwise this is not sustainable. And yeah, I don't have time to go through all of this. I don't need to explain to all of you all the roles. Maybe I would like to underline which are most important events in the Scrum, in the sprint, that I believe that make the biggest, they put the most result. However, they are all important and they should all be held. So the sprint planning is really important. And the refinement, I think it is the most important activity that you can do during the sprint. And you should never be afraid to spend time on refinement. Yeah. So have we all agreed? Okay, that it's about greed. Thank you.
Małgo. Let me see. Małgo, from the beginning, may I ask a question? No. Anyway, my question is, when we talk about values and shared values or common values, I think it's pretty much accepted that each person, even if we're working within the same team or on the same product, I'm not going to mention the word project, that each of us is there for our own specifically somehow unique reasons. So, in other words, the intentions of the people and what they individually seek to accomplish, their reason for being there, can differ. So being in an environment where, for instance, at the beginning of the meeting today, let's all agree that this is what we're going to do in this environment. This is how we'll behave. Agreeing to a particular common goal, is that what you mean by shared values? Because it's very difficult for me to be sure that I share the same values as the person I'm working next to.
I think that there are some very universal values that we maybe even don't think about them. And I mentioned like rest and health and balance in general, work and life balance. And I think this should always be on the top of whatever we do at work. So we should like have this in mind and make it a topic so that everyone, so that whenever we are like working towards a certain goal, we don't we still. The fact that you're not looking at me is like, you need to.
No, I'm really listening. I'm just listening.
No, I'm joking.
No, I understand. I think I understood what you meant. And the only reason I'm asking that is because you have this expression that I saw flash across the screen. If I'm going to trust someone, yes, and we're all respecting each other, this title, Scrum Master, is something that I find very difficult to wrap my head around. In other words, I need to trust the Scrum Master, who the word master for me sort of makes me feel like that one person is rather the leader and the rest of us, well, we just kind of have to follow the leader. That was when I saw that flash across the screen, I just thought, I'm wondering, what is that? Why is it called Scrum Master?
Well, I didn't write the Scrum Guide and I didn't come up with that name. Maybe we can all come up with a better word for this.
That would be great. Someone I think else has a
Manager.
question.
Maybe product manager or PM. It's actually much better because both of these words concentrate on the process or on the product, but none of them actually assumes a hierarchy because Scrum Master assumes a hierarchy, right?
No, the team is equal.
But master is a master.
It's true, but the idea is that
possibly the idea is explained much better. Yeah, like master and main, but you use main and git, and it's better, right?
The Scrum Master is master only of Scrum. It's not master of the
not
product,
of the people,
of the development.
Not of the people. Yeah, but still a master. Okay, I'm just joking. It's a word game actually, but sometimes words make a difference. You know what? After your presentation, I thought that maybe that's something that I was calling optimism earlier is not optimism. Maybe it can be called greed.
Yeah. Oh, actually, the color, that green is a color of greed, but also it's a color of
greed.
Of the Earth Day.
Yes. So
I can see Marta.
Yeah, thanks. It is believed that the Scrum would never work in a company unless the management level understands it deeply and encourages developers to use it in a proper way. So how does it work in your company? And do you have support from the management level in this whole process? And if not, is there any way to change it?
So, as I've mentioned, I cannot speak about the present moment because I am on holidays. However, there were different moments in the course of our growth, let's say. It is, I think it all comes down to the team still in a company this small. I believe that from now on we will all take, Piotr is doing this, so it means Scrum, yeah. We will take it more seriously, even more. I mean, we have always taken it seriously, but I hope that we will just be the best in Scrum. There is someone.
Yeah, I got the mic. I have a question because I feel like we're coming to a point, and even shown in the previous presentation, that the role of developers will quickly switch from programming, from coding, to being more of product people. And I was wondering, being a Scrum Master, do you feel empowered that you're getting access to tools that can easily help you talk with the team on the technical level through AI?
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah,
like what
so I was thinking, because mostly when working with maybe not Scrum Masters as the typical role, but with managers, I feel like sometimes they feel reliant on the rest of the team to give input, etc. I feel like, because AI is becoming more and more aware of the struggles of coding, that in a short amount of time, managers will get access to probably better developers in form of AI. I mean coders in form of AI. Do you feel like, being a manager, that if you had access to a reliable source of truth when it comes to coding, that it would be easier to talk also with other coders, I mean human coders? Oh, like that.
I really would like to discuss it more, because I'm not really sure that I get the gist of the, how do you envision it exactly? I am definitely very curious about the changes that are happening right now, and I think that it's unstoppable, and I think we are all having some sort of fun interacting with AI and involving it in our daily work. So I'm just looking forward to the moment when everyone will get rid of the mundane, repetitive, boring work, and we will all be able to work 4 hours a day. This is the ultimate goal, and I really believe, I hope it for all of us. It will happen for all of us.
I really enjoyed the talk, thank you. Question about pressure. So you said that we should not put pressure. I'm not sure if you meant too much pressure or no pressure at all. What is the quantity of pressure that we should put on the team so that they come to the commitment that is acceptable for both developers, for the team, and for stakeholders?
Well, first of all, I think everyone should answer this question themselves, how much pressure you personally want to put on yourself, and how much pressure are you personally able to take at the moment compared to other goals maybe that you have. And building it up from there, you can discuss with the team and set reliable expectations in terms of how much can we deliver on a sprint basis, let's say. So I think it all comes down to being reliable and communicating it. So first of all, how much you want to do and how much you can do, and then being able to agree on something within the team. Obviously, taking into account that maybe you will not reach the goal in this particular sprint. However, we still want to grow as a... Piotr, you are really Should I finish?
It's an interesting topic. Please continue.
So, and then just work together towards making those assumptions better and better. And I think that's it. I know it sounds very simple. It is much more difficult to do it, and that's why we need commitment.
If we commit together, we make more effort together, I think is what you're saying. And we really invest ourselves in the work that we're doing together. We work less time, we get more work done, and the work that we do is of a better quality. Is that fair to say? Yeah. What about the deadline thing? I hate to use this kind of language. I'm so sorry.
So
There's this thing called a deadline, yes? And I'm noticing that there's a lot of talk and a lot of focus on deadlines for developers. I speak with developers every single day, pretty much all day long. And so with this in place, it sounds like it's a little bit, how shall I say, difficult to feel like, okay, you know, next sprint, you know, maybe we won't fit into this, but you understand there's pressure that does appear simply because maybe the client, not even the product owner, imposes certain deadlines, no?
So I'm definitely speaking about some sort of utopia in which the way we build products is it reflects our the way we work reflect our needs. I think that if we all start to speak about it more often, there is a better chance that the deadlines will not be deadlines.
Let's hope so. I appreciate that. And you know I agree with what you're saying, your idea, the vision that you're expressing here, sharing. I agree wholeheartedly that it cannot just be about the money and the greed to have more, to make more money for the company or whomever you're working for, to earn more. We are human beings who program. We're not just programmers. We're people who program. I appreciate this topic very, very, very much. Everyone, any more questions for Małgo? Any more questions? One more.
Thank you. So I've got one question in general, because it is often the case that the managers...
Do I see the person that is asking? Oh, here, okay.
Yeah, I'm like sitting in, not too tall, but often the time it's the case that managers would get rid of some aspects of Scrum because they view them as a waste of time. And what do you think is the most underestimated part of Scrum that people often neglect?
I think, well, you know, it depends on the culture of the company, on the team. It really does, because, you know, in every team you will have someone who will focus on something else. If you will have an architect in a team, they will definitely love the refinement meetings, right? You know, it really depends.
It depends. You mentioned the pillars. You mentioned
maybe the retrospectives. Maybe the retrospectives. Yeah.
At my previous job.
Yeah.
Is retrospective the same as a post-mortem?
And what is post-mortem?
A post-mortem is when you finish something and it's done. I'm using the term post-mortem on purpose. After you finish the project and you learn from your mistakes, everyone gets together and discusses what happened, what we did, what we could do better the next time. That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's
it's a similar concept, yeah? Retrospective is nicer than post-mortem, I guess. The language. Okay. Folks, give Małgo, if you want to speak more about it, please. Give her a huge hand.
Yeah, thank you.
It is an extremely pertinent topic that you're speaking about, and we missed you on your sabbatical. I haven't seen you in ages. I haven't seen you in person in ages. The person who really brought up something which I think is important to us all. Eventually, this will come to a head, meaning that we need to start focusing on not just the money that we earn or how good we are at what we do, the purpose of the work, the purposefulness of it, and is it a healthy practice? Are we doing things which contribute to the well-being of our work environment and to each other? Or are we just, you know, basically, you know, pressing to get the work done, code pushing. I like that expression. Code pushing. Are we going to take a break now, or are we going to go to the lightning talks? Let's do. Okay, we have, and I've been anticipating this now for a month. I heard laughter. This is actually true. One of our I want to say team members, however, volunteers, Mr. Grzegorz Markowski, has been telling me for months that he's going to be giving a lightning talk. And now finally, please everyone welcome to the stage Grzegorz Markowski. It's a trap. Lightning talk. I love it. Welcome, Grzegorz. You want this one?
Thank you. So, my name is Grzegorz, and on a daily basis, I deal with. I deal with law, mostly with migrant and refugees law for NGOs, but I also cooperate with X-Funk during their projects, and I, let's say, deal with the law part of it. So, the thing is that in the galaxy far, far away, I would like to say that many botans died for these informations, but not really, because it is here, and I would say that many contractors and employers failed because they didn't have this knowledge and information. So I will say about the contracts, and one of the provisions in contract that will which can kill the contract, and it could be a lot of problems. The thing is that it is doing the good contract is like the best and very important thing for business, because if you do the right contract, it will be easy to just fulfill it and not crash in the meantime. So the thing is that, of course, we can write the contract and then make annexes and so on, but it is not so good. It is better to write the good contract on the start. So the thing is that when the company signs contract, it stays for the whole project, so it must be provided by step to fulfill it. And it is only the way to change this contract to write annexes to them. So I will say you how to not write the contractual provision. And it will be example. This provision is transfer all rights to all works created during the contract. So it is very tricky because it is very general and it means nothing and everything, but it appears in contracts. It hits in both in company but also in employees. So it is like the question about this statement. Is the company is giving the right to all projects of all contracts during this time, or with other companies, or only with this company? A lot of questions. Also, the employees. If it is possible that another projects which they are involved also are in this agreement or not. It is like if they are putting to the contract things that they do, for example, in a free time, something in a free time, like for IT people, they, for example, do for fun computer games, or make poetry, or something else. And the thing is that it is good to be as specific as it is possible. Like give the date or the exact things that can be made during the contract, which both parties agree. And for example, it is good to the specific answer is how to do the good contract is, for example, transfer about right to use the program. It is like use the product which can have final version or the versions of parts of it, and on the specific time, for example, 5 years, which can be prolonged. So, of course, it is like more specific and more good. More specific, but it is better to say exactly what we want, and also we can do more things like prolong it by annexes, but it will help us to finish the project and not do all things, give all things which we do to the other contractor. Thank you for your time and attention.
You're such a good sport. Oh, be careful standing in front of the screen.
Okay.
You said you were not going to take any questions now. I will say that the topic that you have raised in this talk is very, very complex. It's not even complicated. It's very, very complex. I just have one question. I can't ask one now. Maybe I'll ask you during the networking session.
Okay.
Okay. Folks, give Grzegorz a very big hand.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So,
at last.
The question?
At long last. No, I'm not going to ask a question. No, I'm not going to do
it.
No, because you said no questions, and I don't want to be the one to break the rules. So, thank you very, very much, Grzegorz. Finally, you made your lightning talk, and we look forward to the next one. Maybe you can do a part 2, a chapter 2.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of stuff I'm wondering about. Should I sign a contract or an agreement? There's so many things. Okay. So thank you so much again. Thank you, Grzegorz. We have another esteemed friend and community member who is going to make another lightning talk. Typically, lightning talks are 5 minutes. We're aware of that, right, Daniel? Is your last name Szczepański? What is your last name? Janusz, of course. Daniel Llanos. You may know him. He may look familiar. He's been here since I arrived at in this community, and a very valued member of this community, and loyal, and he's here all the time to support us. And please welcome to the stage, Daniel Llanos. 5 minutes.
Thanks, Barry. I'll just wait for Piotr to open up the slides for me. Meanwhile, let me just say that this is just fully impromptu. I didn't plan to do this lightning talk, so I'm not sure how it goes. Let's see. Let's hope it's okay.
1 second.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Norbert? Yes. Woo-hoo.
So I think it's good. Okay.
Full screen.
I'm on Shift F. F11. I'll just ignore it.
Oh, yes. No.
Cool. Yeah, so I decided to do a lightning talk about why I cut my hair, because I used to have long hair for years. And the reason why I cut my hair is because I wanted comfort for my bicycle trip that I did in June. I cycled the whole length of Great Britain, 1,700 kilometers. And the very reason I had time for it in the first place is because I took a 2-month-long sabbatical. And Małgo has kind of beat me to discussing the benefits of taking a sabbatical, so I just say I recommend it if you can afford it. And I have time for things, including cycling, reading books, spending time with family and friends, and learning a new language, which the Programmatic Programmer book recommends to do every year. Learn language every year to keep your mind trained and constantly search for new ways of solving problems. So I've embarked on the way to learn Rust, but nothing specific to Rust in this talk, really. I just wanted to share a tip that I found helpful, and I think it's really helpful to pretty much learning any language. And so my general approach to learning language is find an interesting problem to solve, try to solve it in language X. If it doesn't work, try again. So basically learning by doing. And for this particular project of learning class, my problem to solve is having this set of /separated strings and write a program that can render them as a tree. It will be able eventually to fold and unfold particular nodes of the tree, search it, and so on. So for now, it's what it does. And the thing with Rust is it's really hard because it's a pretty low-level language, system programming language. So it has this. It doesn't have a garbage collector. It has this concept of the borrow checker, which is pretty unique. And as you learn Rust, you get to struggle with it a lot. And so I fight with compilation errors all the time, and when I eventually I keep notes of what I learn along the way. But when I solve something and make and succeed in combining, I want to look back and see, have another look at these compilation errors that I got, and ask myself why this worked. What was it about this previous version of the code that was that was wrong. How, like, you know, what can I take away from this? Why didn't I commit this failing version in the first place? And so I've lost a couple of learning opportunities this way, and it dawned on me that I could make a small change to workflow, which is to create a simple shell script that whenever I try to build the code, commits whatever data version I have, records that in the Git history as a dangling tag, and reverse the working tree to the state it was in. So it is unintrusive because like I've hooked this into my workflows instead of running cargo run, which runs Rust normally, I say make run, which runs this shell script in addition. And so now whenever I build, I get a snapshot of the code that I tried to build. And when I succeed, I can revisit the previous mistakes and reproduce the compilation errors and learn from it. So that's pretty much it.
Daniel, okay, and I mean this in the absolute most incredible sense. Has anyone seen or read a thing called A Beautiful Mind? This is just brilliant. Okay, how many years have you been coding or
31.
31 years.
32 maybe.
32. I really appreciated that thing that you just shared. I'm thinking, oh, learn a new language in my spare time. I'm thinking French, maybe eventually Flemish. This is where my mind went. That is amazing. There was one thing in one of your slides that was, why didn't I commit to the wrong? Yes? Who asked themselves questions like that? I think that was really very impressive. And thank you very much for sharing that with us. Everybody give them a hand. We're going to take a break, please. And I would like to say that, you know, okay, folks, let's just network and, you know, party. However, we do have one more lightning talk coming, at least, after the pizza break, which will be about, let's say, 20 minutes. Can we do 20 minutes, 25? Yes? Everybody with me on that? Okay, see you in 25 minutes. Thank you, folks. Mr. Gentara? Mr. Gentara, before we go back live on the stream, can we get your assistance? There you are. There you are. He's going to help you out.
There are two files there. And one PowerPoint.
This is a great opportunity to thank our sponsors once more. Everybody, let me hear a hand for CallStack, Fresha, Pack Help, and they've been very generous. Utility Warehouse. We have Utility Warehouse fans in the house. I love that. And of course, Xfang, whoo. All right, yeah, because without these people, they keep the lights on, folks. Okay, this is very important. I don't really present well with no lights. Okay, I'll leave that with you.
Mam tak samo jak ty. Barry, this will be 5 minutes to prepare. I'm sorry to say that, but we have, tech issue.
Good. Next month, on the second Wednesday of the month, we're going to have our next meetup, number 106. God, my mathematics, please help me. This is 105, yeah, 106 is going to be at the Google campus for startups on the other side of the river in Praga. And I do believe we have a QR code that you will be able to scan this evening at the end if you want to buy tickets at a very reasonable price in advance. So look out for that, folks. Second Wednesday of August at the Google campus for startups. Yes? What? You want to buy a ticket? Oh, we have to wait for the QR code to appear. I wish I could help you, but it's coming. It will be there, so look out for that. Thank you very much. Next. You thought I said last? Nest? Nest. Interesting. Nest meetup. No, I wish I had said that, actually. You ready, Pan Tadeusz? Here you go. Once more, welcome to the stage, Pan Tadeusz, everybody. Here you go.
Okay, welcome, mates. Probably some of you may remember me from the last year when I gave a lightning talk about some dates and leap year and so on, and in the September probably a talk about temporal library. And today, I hope some of you are awake and or at least alive. Are you? Okay, you've probably noticed that we have summertime, vacation, holidays, and so on and so on. And this time is great for taking plenty of photos and from your journeys, trips, and so on. And I want to talk about some technique of resizing photos, which may even save your life. Okay, plenty of images taken this time of holidays and so on. And many of these images, especially when displayed on mobile devices with responsive web design used and so on, are tortured in various ways. They are scaled, cropped, resized, and so on. And these procedures can lead to sometimes to distortion or even dropping the important details. For example, try to imagine what would happen if you have such a beautiful photo with your mother-in-law and you crop it out from the photo on her device. Can you even imagine it? I can't. Okay. And the idea is that some areas in the images are more important than the others. For example, at this photo we can see some tower, some castle, something like that, and some person. Maybe your father-in-law remember about it. And these details definitely have to be preserved while manipulating that photo. And the other areas, the sky, the grass, and so on, can be thrown out. Okay, have you ever heard about the sim curving? I see. Okay, this is a technique of manipulating, especially resizing images, which is content aware. And this is the clue. The idea means that you try to keep more important details, pixels unchanged. It's said that these pixels have more energy than others. And the less important can be thrown out, completely removed. They are unimportant completely. How to do that? I'm sorry. First, we calculate the energy, kind of importance, we may say, of every pixel, of each pixel in the image. Here is the example taken from the Wikipedia, of course, where the gradient magnitude was used. Every pixel, for every pixel was calculated the difference between their neighbors of the value. It may be done only horizontally, only vertically, in both directions. All the ways are possible. And some other ways are of course possible. These energies for each pixels can be calculated, or you can just select the areas which are of special importance. Okay, and then using the, for example, graph algorithm like Dijkstra's algorithm or dynamic programming, grid algorithms or graph cuts, we find in the image paths called sims here of least importance. Here we have the example of sims starting from the top to the bottom. They are calculated vertically, but of course horizontal sims can be calculated, sorry, end of time. When we find these sims, we can remove them because they are not important at all. Only the area not included in the seams, the tower here and the person, are left out in the picture. Okay, sorry. Oh, okay. And here's the comparison between simple scaling, where every pixel is treated the same way. Every pixel is resized like the same way. And here we can have the example of sim curving, where the important pixels are preserved, not distorted, and the unimportant pixels are completely removed. And your life is saved that way, because your mother-in-law will not be angry with you. Okay, this is of course only in the introduction, and you can read more about the technique with the links provided. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice evening.
Okay, well, since we're all comfortable and seated, for me that was very valuable information. I'm desperately searching for a free tool that I can use to scale. Image Magic. Okay, I'm gonna hope I can remember that. I'm so bad. It's just very, very bad. Does anyone have any questions about this presentation for Pan Tadeusz? Is anyone a graphic designer? Oh, there you are. Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, I'm perfect presentation.
Thank you.
Please. Yeah, I'm interested to know how you calculate values or importance each pixels. I mean, it's special algorithm, or you check I don't know, hex of pixels around, or how?
The energies of each pixel, you mean?
Yeah.
Oops. Is this possible to? Oops. How to? Okay, there was a link, leading to the, do you know Hyperskill portal, former JetBrains Academy?
No.
It's some kind of educational portal with many topics devoted to programming and various projects to do and so on. And this is the link to the project with detailed explanation how to calculate the values for each pixel, their importance. As I've mentioned, one of the ways is the gradient, and we can separate each pixels to their values of RGB, and only selected or all of the values take the difference between their neighbors. And then just square difference, square root of squared difference, yes?
Yeah, I see. So you found some like unique or some specific object, yes, in all pictures.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And this is this technique of gradient descent is used when you try to automatically calculate the differences. But of course, you can select the images, the areas of most importance by hand. Does it answer your question? Okay.
Thank you once again. Does anyone have? We have time for one more question, Mr. Gentara? Not really? Just in case. We don't want to leave anyone out. Does anyone really have another question? By the way, you have one. Okay, here we go. Let's just go for it. Let's go all the way. If we're going to go, let's go.
Yeah, so actually I was using this technique. No, it's no. I'm just referring to the time when I was actually a designer, graphic designer. So I was using this. I used this technique in a Photoshop, content-aware scale and stuff like that. And a couple of years ago, I was quite surprised that the CSS, you know, magicians, like the kingdom of standards, they decided to enter the blending modes, exactly the same that we have in Photoshop. So I'm curious if maybe you know anything about some plans of the consortium of CSS I don't remember the name, to introduce these ways of scaling into the CSS to be native.
I'm so sorry, but I don't have such knowledge. By the way, the other name of this technique is liquid rescaling. And as such, you can find it probably in Photoshop. And what else? At Wikipedia site, you can find interactive examples how the percent of distortion, how the percent of width of the target image influences the distortion percentage rate of two images. One is the tower and person, probably, as I remember, and the second one is the creation of Adam by God. And the second example is especially interesting because it shows that faces are much more preserved than other parts of bodies, for example, because they are of more importance.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you once more. And
one more big hand for Pantadeus. Liquid rescaling, image magic, yes? Image magic, I will desperately try. Folks, I want to give us one more opportunity to really thank. Let's have a big round of applause for all of our speakers this evening. As well as those who gave lightning talks. I hope you really have had a great time. And as promised, we also want to thank again our sponsors, CallStack, Fresha, Pack Help, that's right, you know the deal, you know the drill, Utility Warehouse, and XFang for helping to make this all possible. Once again to our team, our tech team, Louisa Haas, please give her a hand. She's the magician and the mechanic, and also thank you, Norbert, very much for your help, and Sasha Michałowska, and Maciej Makniewski, and Piotr Shantara, and myself. We all thank you, and we hope to see you next time. Where is the QR code for the next meeting? Ha-ha! So, if you'd like to purchase tickets for our next meetup, let me get out of the way. This QR code will allow you to buy tickets in advance at a significantly reduced cost. I'm not even going to call it a price. We really hope to see you there. There's also an agenda, I see. It means that we will have Jakub Wawinko, oh, Kuba, optimizing video localization with ML and AWS Batch. Kacper Pietrzak, do I know him? I don't think so. Local first architecture, and Richard, is that Honor or Honor? Honor, what a name. I want that name. Vite, modern front-end bundling for a better developer experience. Folks, once again, I really appreciate your attention and thank you for allowing me to be with you. It's been my great honor. Have a great night and a great networking session. Honor, all right, the Honor. Oh, is he from Utility Warehouse? Aha, okay, he's got a fan club over here. Okay, so once again, folks, thank you very much and have a great night. Thank you.